When we hear the word snapshot, my mind just goes to the snapshot of a camera. And you would realize that EBS snapshot is not very different too. I prefer to talk from very basic sense of what a technology is. So snapshot in photographic world, it is an informal photograph usually made with a small handheld camera. That's what we do. But I'm interested into this definition here, which says, hey, computing a record of data or state at a particular time. When you click a photo from a camera, whatever was in front of camera that time, that its image gets captured. It was in good state, bad state, happy, sad, it is captured. That's all. That is the point in time copy of that moment, and same thing applies when we say I have to take a EBS snapshot. It captures that volume's point in time state. Whatever file data is present would be captured and kept for future use if you want it. So that is called a snapshot, and here we are referencing about EBS snapshot. So EBS snapshots are a point in time copy of your data. Whatever you have created, that data is into your volume and you capture a snapshot of it. Probably you have guessed that instance store volume won't allow you to take snapshot because it is designed for ephemeral access, is designed for temporary access. So it won't allow you to create snapshot. Only EBS volumes have this feature of snapshot. Why I would be interested to capture a snapshot of it? Because it can be used to enable disaster recovery. If system fail in one location, I may want to start it in another location. Maybe migrate data across region. I have captured a lot of data into, let's say, Northern Virginia. Now I want to copy it to another region and maybe across account, and maybe I would need to follow some backup best practices, and that's why snapshot would be a best way to use. Snapshots are automatically saved to Amazon S3 for long-term retention. You do not create a bucket to store Amazon EBS snapshot. The system behind the scene would take the snapshot and keep it with the same durability which Amazon S3 provide. Somewhere in a managed bucket by AWS, your snapshot would be captured, but only you have ownership as a snapshot creator to access those snapshots. If you want, you could share with others also if there is a need for it. So let me go back to console, and we would then create a snapshot and see how it looks into the console to create a snapshot. Snapshots can be created for the instances which are running. Basically, you are capturing the snapshot of the volume associated with that instance, and that's why here is a snapshot option. If I go ahead and check if I have any snapshots here, probably I do not have anything as of now. Snapshot owned by me, private snapshot, and if you want you could make public snapshots too. There is no problem in that. I am interested right now to capture the snapshot of this 10 GB volume, or maybe let's say this 8 GB volume, whatever. You select what works well for you, and here I have option to create a snapshot. Now for ease of understanding, I'm showing you all these things from Management Console, a graphical interface, but all of these things can be automated from command line, from API, from choice of your tool or infrastructure as a code tools like CloudFormation. You could utilize them to create snapshot or perform any operation, whatever I am showing you into console. So I would create a snapshot. I have to give description to identify what this is. So this is my snapshot is, let's say, base image, sorry, base image. I do not have encryption on that. I could add a tag on that. So I have taken it on a specific date, which is your 502. Let me make it 0502 2023. And that is the additional tag I have added. I have created a snapshot. The snapshot is being stored here. If you see, this is my snapshot and it has completed. This is not a huge big volume, just a 8 GB volume, 10 GB, 11 GB, and there is nothing in that. We just created it, and that's why it did not require too much of time. But if the volume is bigger, it may take little time to get a snapshot. So just be aware about it. Now, once a snapshot is ready, what can I do from it? From this snapshot, I could go ahead and create a volume from the snapshot. So maybe I have taken a EC2 instance. I captured its detail into a snapshot, its volume details into a snapshot, and then I use this snapshot to further create a EBS volume. Now, if you remember, my volume which we have created was into US East 1E. My snapshot doesn't have a availability zone constraint. It exists into Northern Virginia because if you remember, S3 is used behind the scene to keep this snapshot. Let me draw that into whiteboard for ease of understanding. Sorry, blackboard. So this is my EC2 instance. This was a volume associated with it. I have created a snapshot, though it was running into one of the availability zone. But what I can do when I am capturing the snapshot, let me use here AZA and AZB. So this is my AZA, this is availability zone B, and this whole stuff is obviously within a AWS region. So when I capture a snapshot, its detail are being stored into Amazon S3 as a service. S3 is a regional entity. So my S3 storage is used to capture the volume snapshot. My snapshot now exists here. Now, the benefit here is now I could use this snapshot and say, hey, I want to copy this snapshot to another region. So that is possible. You could copy it to another region of your choice, or you could take the snapshot and create a volume into the same availability zone, or you could create a volume into a different availability zone also. So in case you want to attach EC2 instance with the volume in one availability zone to another, you would first take a snapshot, and once the snapshot is ready, from there you will generate a volume, and once that volume gets created, you could associate with the EC2 instance here. Shouldn't be a problem. So that is how the workflow would look like. When you are copying it across the region, that can go into the same AWS account or into a different AWS account. It is purely up to you. It's best practice for lots of reason to keep all your backup and snapshot in a different AWS account. So in case your primary account gets compromised, you still should be able to get your resources recovered from a different AWS account. So we would be storing this snapshot into S3, and afterward we would be accessing the details as a volume into another availability zone. So if you see here, create volume from snapshot. So I could create a volume from the snapshot, and this time I can obviously change the volume type, right? Maybe it is a QA machine for testing purpose and I do not need the same performance. So I could change its volume type. I could change its availability zone also if the need be, and then I could say, okay, done, create my volume. So that is the option by which we can create a volume. I won't do that, but yes, this option exists. Second thing from here you could do that I want it to copy snapshot. See this. So this is a copy snapshot option. I could go ahead and say description, which region, as you could see. So I could select the destination region from here to a different region altogether and get started by copying the snapshot. Shouldn't be a problem at all. And if I feel, I could go ahead to the snapshot and I could modify its permission and say, hey, I want to share it publicly so anyone can use it, or I may want to share with a specific AWS account. Let's say snapshots are captured in one account and shared in another. So those type of sharing is possible across account, across region. Shouldn't be a problem. Copying can happen across region too. And you can share with different AWS account. Another benefit of snapshot is from this snapshot, you could create a image. Remember Amazon machine images? So what if, let me give an example here. Let's say I have taken a standard Linux based AMI, and in that AMI then I have done lot of customization, added the software I needed, removed unnecessary software, did a vulnerability scanning, applied the patch, and everything is now ready. Even maybe I have installed my application too in that. I want this to act as my golden image or a base image for further instances I launch. So what I can do from the running state, I would probably best would be to shut down the instance. Once the instance is shut down, take a snapshot of that volume, and that snapshot then can be converted into a AMI, and after this AMI is available, it can be used to launch further EC2 instances, and they would have all the same data which was present here. So this is a good way to customize your volume, add whatever component you need, and afterward capture its image and use it as a source for launching more Amazon EC2 instances for your account. Or this AMI can be copied across account and may be made public if you want to. So that is also possible. Let me go back to the console here. So here I can say create image from snapshot. It would be creating an image for me, and that is my image description, which architecture it belongs to, where it would be mounting, some virtualization information, and I can select the volume mapping and size, and I could say okay, go ahead and create an image for me. Once this image is ready, it may take a little time probably, or maybe finished properly done. So my images are now available here. I go to AMIs and see this. This is the AMI which we have just captured by the snapshot we have taken. So that is how easy it is to use snapshot and leverage it for different purposes. Another benefit of snapshot is that snapshots are incremental and they store only the changes since the last snapshot. This is an important feature. Let me try to draw that. So let's say this was a 10 GB volume. Let's consider it was fully captured or fully packed. When I say I want to capture a snapshot of it, so first snapshot which will be captured, it would have the full data of it. Let's say after some time in this 10 GB volume, we have added or removed 2 GB of data and maybe removed 1 GB of data. So what would happen now? The next capture would be the changes which happened. It will not create a full copy again. So it will save you a lot of money because it is not the exact same copy. Only the incremental changes are being captured by snapshot. This is not like S3 versioning. In S3 versioning, your objects were treated independently and there was no incremental changes saved. It was a full object. But here, your snapshots would be stored in an incremental or a chain-based fashion. First volume would be full, and afterward only the required volume changes will be captured into the snapshot. And you can see this information into a better pictorial format than my drawing into this link. Let me open this thing here, and here you will find detail on how Amazon Snapshot actually works. So see this, we had a 10 GB volume, we took a snapshot, whole 10 GB snapshot is captured. Afterward, we modified in that 10 GB 4 GB of data, 4 GB change. We initiated another snapshot. So that snapshot would just capture the 4 GB of data and it would point to the unchanged data into the top snapshot, which is called snapshot A. Afterward, let's say 2 more GB of data was added, no issues. We would take another snapshot and that would capture only 2 GB of data and it would now be pointing to the 4 GB from Snap B and 6 GB from Snap A. So this is how your snapshots would be incrementally storing your data. So this is a good graphic to represent how your incremental snapshots actually work. So I hope this thing is clear and you got a better idea on what snapshot is and how you can use it. Another tool we have here is called Lifecycle Manager. Now, you may want to have a life cycle attached that I want to keep my snapshot for so and so days and then I have to delete those snapshots. I don't want to manually do it, and that's why here is a tool or a service called Data Lifecycle Manager. It automates the creation, retention, copy and deletion of snapshot and AMIs. So if you regularly, let's say after every Microsoft patch on Tuesday, you release a new AMI, you create snapshot before creating that AMI. So that process can be all automated by the service called Amazon Data Lifecycle Manager. Right? So hope you have got a better idea on what can be done with the snapshot, and I have added a single page service summary slide, service summary card, where I have explained about what EBS is, different type of volumes available, what are the pricing factor, how you can create these. So these details are available into the resources section. So I'll talk to you into the next section. Thank you.